What's up, Pack members? It's the Rare Spirit Alpha here. As you can see, I'm joined by my good friend Man Bat, and I'm bringing you another Lego DC Supervillains Customs showcase. So I know I haven't done one in a while. I think the last one I did was, the Shazam teams, which was a while back, maybe a few months ago. But whatever the case, I'm back again, and like I said, I think I deleted the video, but whatever the case. So I made custom characters of, Wolfpack Studios, the animes. So we have a few characters from the various animes of, Wolfpack Studios. So let's see what we come up with. So some abilities might not be able to showcase a bunch, but I'll try my best. So first up here we have, Spirit. So, obviously, he's wearing his, robe. And, by his spirit, he's from Soul Fighters. He's wearing his Soul Fighters robe, not wearing shoes because he, connects with the earth or whatever. So he fights like a martial artist. He has a targeted launch so he can, rush. He fires, soul blasts. Or blast of soul energy. And he also has an explosion attack where he calls upon Tamaska, I believe. Or the power of Tamaska. And let's note he does also have a hyper jump. And he also has a rush attack, so, as you can zoom in on people. So, pretty cool. Alright, but that's Spirit and Soul Fires. Next up, also from Soul Fires, we have Blaster. So Spirit's best friend. And, I was just gonna make Spirit, but I thought Blaster's a key component of Spirit, so, that sounded weird, he has a lot of importance to Spirit's story, so, best friend, so, obviously had to make Blaster. Plus, who can forget a good Blaster versus Spirit battle? So Blaster, he too fights, although he has, a little bit of a different martial arts style. Blaster has powers of Kaiju, so he has Kaiju Quads, which summon the thunder or lightning of King Ghidorah. So, Right here we have, what I call the Call of Cthulhu. So, pretty cool. And he can also fire Godzilla's, the radiation or atomic energy, whatever you want to call it, out of his chest. So, pretty cool. And I think he can glide. Yes, he can. So, and that he uses the flight of Mothra, I believe. Mothra or Rodan, I guess both of them have, important flying, but I'll let Blaster himself decide which he'd prefer more, Mothra's flight or Rodan's flight. But whatever the case, or not flight, but glide. But anyway, whatever the case, that was Blaster, and he's pretty chill, so Anyway, next up, we have Eisen, or Cerberus Eisen from Heaven and Hell Earth Defense. And obviously, this is like him, he was human, but after becoming Vesper Cerberus, his, body underwent some pretty crazy changes, so to say. But as you can see, he has the pawed feet, he has the glowing eyes, the fur around his back and all that, and has the ears, the scars, and of course he has to have the hellfire on his hands, or I guess now paws. But so, and he's obviously breathing heavily because I guess Cerberus, he is a good guy, but still. So he fights with the hellfire, he can launch hellfire from his chest. And then he can also breathe the hellfire in like fireballs. And what else does he do? And he also has an explosion attack where he punches the ground and sends out, well, a wave of hellfire. So yeah, pretty cool. He doesn't fly, doesn't glide, but he's still a good character to have. Oh, I almost forgot, he can also grow. Because, you know, Cerberus is massive, so yeah. And the fire gets big too. I mean, look at the size of that fire. That's pretty crazy. But hey, giant enemies don't stand a chance. Anyway, next up is Eisen's good friend Jared, aka Imperious Jared. And so Jared, he moves really fast due to, you know, having God speed. He attacks also really fast with his, well, staff or whatever. He can launch like divine light from, well, or archangel light from his hand. Just one of them though, because, you know, one's for the staff, the other's for, you know, energy. He also stomp on the ground to send out an archangel wave. So pretty cool. He launches lightning from his chest emblem. Very cool. And I think he can fly. Yes, he can. So, yeah. And obviously, you know, obviously his hands are glowing, so, yeah. So, yeah, Imperious Jared. Thumbs up. Next up, we have Kyle from the new Saiyan King. So obviously, you know, he's wearing his Saiyan tunic or gi or kimono, whatever you want to call it. And he was a little bit tricky to design the kimono for, but I am happy with how the hair turned out since, you know, he actually has like yellow streaks yellow streaks in his red hair. I know his hair might not seem much like a Saiyan's, but I still think it turned out pretty good for the limitations. So anyway, he fights normally. Most of these characters are just going to fight normally just to warn you. So he also has a targeted launch, so he can lock on something if something was around, that is. Let's try to forklift. No? There we go. And he actually soars to it. So I think he also has super strength, right? I thought I saw him say this. Oh yeah, he does. I think most characters do have super strength, actually. They're anime, so you know, anything can happen. But anyway, let's see, what else does he do? He launches, well, kind of his own version of Kamehameha blasts. But then again, he doesn't need both hands to power it up. He can just launch them easily. And he also has an explosion attack where he punches the ground. That's supposed to represent the dragon punch. But yeah, and I think, yeah, and of course he can fly since he's a Saiyan. And looks like the forklift is back. Alright, but yeah, Kyle. Kind of an interesting Saiyan character, but he's definitely fun to play as. And I think my good friend, well, he has so many different names. I've said his different name so many times now, but right now, well, Spyro the Dragon on YouTube, let's just say that. And anyway, moving on. So yeah, Kyle, new Saiyan King, excellent character. Next up is Wade from Born Wild. So obviously Wade is a werewolf, and I'm actually quite happy with how it turned out, because some of the outfit, or the clothing I gave him, does actually look like he has fur, so yeah, great on that. So Wade obviously moves very fast because he's a speed god. Yeah, he's a werewolf speed god. So He fights with his claws in a very fast manner, obviously. He has a targeted lunge. He has super senses since he is a werewolf. And he also has, well, demolition mode. He has like an elbow charge or whatever. But yeah, I don't think he flies. No, he doesn't fly, but he does lock on, so definitely agree on that. But whatever the case, Wade from Born Wild, excellent character. I actually was a bit hesitant to make Wade since I didn't know how well I could create a werewolf in Lego form. I know they made Lego werewolf figures, but you know, they don't usually give werewolf heads, so in games, I mean. So I'm happy with how he turned out. So yeah, Wade from Born Wild. Next up is Balto from Fighter Within. And so here he is. Obviously he has, you know, the little bands on his arms. Now this little shoulder piece right here, I just added that because I thought that would be fitting. But in reality, or in the show, it would actually be, you know, well, show made by me. It would actually be, you know, both sides, not just one, but you know, you gotta work with what you get, because I could do both sides, but then I'd have to give the cape, and Balto definitely wears a cape. So, a short cape, but still a cape. So he, obviously, he too, much like Spirit, has the martial art pose, so he attacks much like Spirit did. He too has a targeted lunge. If I can lock on to something, that is. Yeah, just does an uppercut, nothing really special. He does the fire style scorching foot, in a way, that is. He would really do a flying kick, followed by, you know, the fire on his foot, but whatever the case, that is what it is. And he also has this, well, demolition mode. So pretty funny. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think he can. Okay, he does double jump. So pretty cool. But yeah, Balto from Fire Within. Not bad. Next up we have Tron from Legacy of Youngbloods. And oh, I was about to say, why were his guns appearing? But so yeah, obviously, you know, he had this very robotic look to him. He's like a cyborg pretty much. And obviously, you know, you gotta have gauntlets. So yeah, anyway, he does not shoot any bolts with his gauntlets. That was like a weird glitch that I had, to where he just would not want to shoot the bolts out of his guns. So he, you know, just had to fight with them. That's okay. He can still use them. So he launches the hyper beam from his gun. So yeah, he definitely still has a use for them. So he doesn't shoot bolts like that, but he does shoot bolts from his chest. So yeah, good for that. And he also has system overload, where, you know, charges up and puts his gauntlets down. So yeah, and I don't think he doesn't double jump or fly or anything. But yeah, Tron, he makes him a bit thrown together, but I think for limitations I think he turned out pretty good. So yeah, Tron from Legacy of Youngbloods. Next up is Atlas from Combat Fighters King of the Cards. So this is actually kind of a weirder character. So, you know, because he doesn't really do any physical fighting. He does, like, the fighting as if he's playing, like, a virtual reality game. So, you know, he, you know, raises his hand to do that attack. He can throw a boomerang. He has a force field. And of course he has a drone. So yeah, there's not very much to say about Atlas because he doesn't double jump or anything. So yeah, once again, not much to say about Atlas. He's kind of a basic character, but it might not seem that useful, but he does have some uses. Like, he's a very smart character, so he can use like technology and all that, so he's a good character to have. He might not be the best in combat, but you know, not best in combat because his, you know, attacks are pretty slow. But other than that, I think Atlas is still a good character to have. So yeah, Atlas from Combat Fighters came to cards. Next up is Mirage from Reaper of Souls. So obviously she has her energy blade, or energy sword, the purple hair and the green skin since she is a dragon. Now, she has her wings tucked in obviously because, you know, you can't have a cape and wings. Well, actually not that the case. Due to her hair, I couldn't add the wings anyway, so it's not like it matters. But anyway, so she swings her energy sword. She launches energy out of her sword. Let's see. She has an explosion attack. So I think that's like her Bankai, I believe. And she also has the stare or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, her eyes and hang on. Hang on. Yes? Just give me a minute. Thank you for interrupting my recording. Sorry about that, pack members. Always interrupting me. It's ridiculous. But anyway, well, happens all the time. I've kind of gotten used to it. But anyway, this usually happens whenever I do long videos. But whatever the case, let's move on. So yeah, you know, in this game it freezes people, but in the anime, what would happen is she would use her eyes, you know, to turn her like hollows or enemies to stone, and then she would use her like Bankai. So I think it would be like this, you know, freeze it and then, or something like this. But yeah. And I don't know if she fly. Well, yeah, she doesn't fly, but she does lock on, so pretty cool. Anyway. And I don't think she does anything else. So yeah, Mirage from Reaper of Souls. Pretty good. Alright, next up is Dire from the Wolf Shadow of the Beast. So he doesn't have much powers. He's usually, you know, just a normal guy. He does have some werewolf blood in him, but you know, he's obviously not going to take his wolf form in this game. But yeah, also this actually is not the right, you know, place for him. It would probably be more fitting if he was in Gotham, but you know, I just wanted to stay here in the light so I could show most of the characters. So yeah, and so he has two knives. He has some guns too, but he won't use those in those games. So he swings his two knives around. He throws explosives. I think that'll explode. So yeah, and so yeah, holding X he can target, and just pressing B he'll just throw them freely. So yeah, you can barely see that flash. And holding B, he pounds his knife into the ground, which I don't know how that really creates like a sonar thing, but it does. And he does double jump, so yeah, he is acrobatic at that. And I was gonna give him a fedora hat, but then I thought that would look kind of thrown together, so I decided to give him hair instead. But he does have a hoodie, or a hood on the back, so yeah. Hang on. Yeah? I already said, and I'm fine right now, just a minute. Okay, thanks again for interrupting. Sorry again. Oh, two times in one recording. Ridiculous. Anyway. But yeah, so that there is Dire from The Wolf Shadow of the Beast. And last is Tom from Road Warrior. So he's a pretty basic character. He doesn't really have any real powers, but he does shoot his guns, so yeah. And pretty cool. And he also has detective mode, so he can sense things. And his gun does lock on to things. So that's pretty nice. And he also has a drone. Once again, it's a static drone, can't go super far. But yeah. So I'm going to switch back to my other character. So yeah. So that there is, well, Wolfpack Studios animes in Lego form. So yeah. Well, I know I left out a bunch of characters. And my original idea was I was going to do some for each anime, but then again, I thought, you know, that would be too time consuming and tedious, so I thought I'll just go ahead and make a good bit of characters, since some characters would look kind of thrown together if I did that, so yeah. Anyway, but that does our rest of this video, so until next time, this is Spirit the Alpha, signing out. I'll see you guys back in the pack.